Welcome to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Vickers. Similar to how military and special ops use remote viewing to access secret information, I communicate directly with universal beings to better understand creation, existence, and evolution. For the past 20 years, I've worked with thousands of people around the world, helping them gain access to the highest level information possible so they can achieve their ultimate goals. Right now, I've partnered with the creator and some of the most influential beings in existence to bring you the story of creation. My goal is to create a world where you remember who you are and why you exist. Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. We are part 21 of the story of creation today. And let's see who's going to show up. For those who haven't been here before, this is recorded live in front of an audience. So there's bloopers and there's a whole bunch of fun things that happen all inside of this. So if you're looking for a highly edited and scripted video, this is not for you. We're exploring the universe and everything happens exactly how it should. And information that you are meant to hear is going to happen here. So first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. And we've got the creator today, but we also have, so the second stream of angelics are going to show up today. And so the second stream of angelics are those who were tasked with creating experience here in the universe. So not just on the planet, but in the universe itself. And so ultimately, what we're learning today and what they want to show us is understanding that the human experience was created after the intention of the universe. Now, this is obviously, it's obvious, and yet most people don't see existence that way. It's recognition. Okay, so they really want to share that again is, the human experience was created long after the intention of the universe. Why is this important? Okay. It's understanding that by the time your soul, so this is like, and your soul has lived, hundreds or thousands of lives in this existence, but by the time your soul itself came into existence, the foundation of existence was already set in the sense of recognition of free will, recognition and free will. Okay, let me explain what free will is for a minute. They want to, the creator is actually going to share that information, that dynamic, because he wants you to understand that free will means you have the opportunity to experience and explore anything that brings you joy. Now, this is really important to understand. Joy is not about being all happy. Okay? That is not what joy is. Joy is a deep understanding and recognition of your potential. Okay? When you have that, then you can contribute to existence itself. If you want more awareness of joy itself, it is in my book, Believe. I'm just going to leave that there right now because we're going on to so many more things. And why this is important is if your base beliefs aren't aligned, if those, like just those three that they just shared, if those themselves aren't aligned, you can't build on that. So free will is understanding that you're here to exercise your right to explore your potential. Okay. Now, your potential is divinely linked. Divinely linked. That means, this is direct from the creator. Divinely linked means you have an aspect of me in your creation. Now, that does not mean it's like, most of us will see it like a pie graph, and there's like a piece cut out, and the creator cut out that piece of the pie and put it inside of every aspect of existence. Okay. So you're carrying a physical piece of him. No, that is not accurate. It is also not accurate to say that you're carrying a specific perspective of him. Okay. Also, he didn't give you something to say, here's your rule on how you need to live. Okay. This is really important. Again, this goes back to what we've been talking about in the last couple episodes and parts of this story is when he says, and he's saying it, when I give you a piece of myself, what I mean is I'm giving you it's the keys to the universe as well as the grace and wisdom on how to use it. It's really important. Okay. So the keys to the universe means you can go in and access every aspect of consciousness you could ever want or need. What does that mean? It doesn't mean someone decides for you what you want or need. It's a recognition that whatever is of interest to you will naturally come to you. And the grace and the awareness of how to use them is in recognition that when you are on your life's mission and you are fulfilling the reason you came into this world, that means you're participating in your evolution. You're participating in exploring what you're capable of. Okay? When you're doing that, when you doing it with grace and respect, it means you're allowing yourself to take in everything you need for the awareness. So if you want to explore something, you're going to explore naturally all aspects. Okay. So it's tricky here because our brains have been so conditioned by the education system on how we would explore something. So, you would have to have this textbook and this source of information, or the website over here, or this, individual, this expert, and you would be studying in that way. Okay. And so potentially, if you're using your mind like that, you could miss something. But what happens and what the creator is saying is when you allow yourself to engage in participating from a conscious perspective in existence, okay, is information will come to you and through you, okay? And the goal is to hold no bias. So zero filter, which of course, again, back to believe the energy of purity, which we talked about last week as well. Purity will determine, that's why you have purity encoded into your DNA, your RNA, the aspects of you as a soul way before you came into the physical. And so, it's understanding that the foundation of who you are is fundamentally different than the human you've been taught to be. All of the information you need for every exploration in existence already exists at your fingertips. That's the keys to the universe. That's literally, and what I mean by keys is they're not keys that you need to hang on a necklace or to, you don't need a physical representation. And that's my point. That's exactly the bigger point of this whole part 21 is our attachment to the physical representation of existence and energy is what is blocking our capacity to understand how it works. because we keep seeing it in a way that translates. So, right? So learning is instantaneous. The moment you put your attention on asking a question, the information will come. And it comes in streams. Most of the time, it's going to come in the form of something that makes you really uncomfortable. Why? Because it is challenging one of your beliefs. Sometimes it's going to be challenging 5 or 10 of them all in one shot. And that's the point. That is the exact reason. But here's the challenge. As humans, we've decided it's bad. That information made me uncomfortable. So it's bad information. So I'm going to close the door and I'm going to walk away and I'm going to pretend I didn't ask those questions. Or I'm going to change the question that I'm asking and I'm going to say, okay, but can you do that with grace and with ease? And I don't want to be uncomfortable. All of those ideas are attachments to this physical world. Okay. But here's the bigger challenge is that, and the bigger challenge for today is recognition that your attachment to comfort, okay, is the real problem, if you will. Comfort doesn't mean soft and cushy and safe and comfortable. Comfort means you have an awareness of the potential result. Right. Okay. Because if you have an awareness of the potential result, you know how to act, you know what to expect from others. There's another powerful trigger word, expect. And you also understand your emotional triggers and traumas. This is really important. Okay. What that means is, okay, when you want to hold yourself into the dynamic of comfort, it means you still want to hold your triggers and traumas. Just feel that for a second. You're saying to the universe, remember, you are a satellite and you are consistently broadcasting out frequencies and vibrations through universal energy, through soul energy, through physical energy. That's how powerful you are. You're doing this all the time. And every time your intention is, I want to be comfortable, you are broadcasting that you want to remain in deep connection. You can use the word resonance. I look at it, you can feel it. It's your relationship, right? That's what you're feeding. You're feeding your relationship with your traumas, okay? And all of those, and your triggers, all of those things that set you off, you're feeding them. The entire universe wants to help you. And what I mean by help, this is the creator speaking, what I mean by help is a recognition that you have an opportunity to choose to participate consciously in your day-to-day life. It is not, you were never meant to hide or be hidden from the full awareness of consciousness itself. So your job seems harder than it is. It seems trickier than it is because you feel lost, you feel alone, you feel defeated. all of those things are a result of not wanting to overcome those challenges. It's beautiful because the creator is showing me, he's showing when we plug in to our story, right? Those beliefs that we have this is how life is, this is how it works. It's like plugging into an outlet. And what happens is when you're plugged into a location, a specific outlet, you can only give and receive information that will flow through that particular outlet. So whatever beliefs you have around it, whatever beliefs everyone else has around it, is how information is going to flow. It's going to transmit. You cannot access universal awareness and consciousness through that plug, through that link, through that outlet. Right. So that's what a belief is. Okay? That's the result of a limiting belief. It is literally going to cause a situation where you can't access higher awareness. And this is where so many people get so frustrated. They're like, but I want to see it. I want to see it. If you really want to see it, then you're going to have to sit back, unplug entirely from your belief, and allow the truth to come in. And that means you're going to be uncomfortable. Okay? But here's the thing. Discomfort means you're creating something new. How do you know that? Because you've never done it before. That's what makes you uncomfortable. Do you know it's going to fail? Stop expecting it to fail. Stop expecting it to fail. Feel that. When it starts to feel uncomfortable, instead of plugging yourself into, oh, this isn't going to be good, this is going to be bad, oh, what if this happens, what if this happens, start plugging yourself into, what could happen here? What's possible? If there were no rules or no limits, what could I do? What would I do? What can I do? What do I want to do? You have to let your brain change its beliefs. So it is literally unplugging from the outlet that holds the strong belief that is blocking you from consciousness and coming all the way back. Most people think consciousness is about a thought experience, right? It's about being more intentional. But it is not something in being more intentional. That in itself this is something I have to do with my brain, right? You can't access consciousness through your brain. It is absolutely impossible. Consciousness is a universal vibration and frequency that is transmitted through energy. That's it. Your job is to feel it. You can't do that if you have a whole bunch of rules, and that's what beliefs are. They are your rules on how information, vibration, and frequency is transmitted, right? It's the same thing as the concept that all humans are self-healing, right? And then our brains go into well, what does that mean? But my experience is so different than everybody else's. Or, this person, why can't they do it? Your job isn't to worry about other people. Your job is to focus on yourself. Okay? If you want to help other people heal, then your job is to raise your vibration and your awareness and your physical experience. And if that is of interest to them, then they will say, what are you doing? Your job is not to say, oh, you need to do this. You need to do that because I heard about this and I heard about that. Okay? Vibration is way more sensitive than, again, we've been told it doesn't even exist. So vibration is so sensitive. You can use any one of your senses. You can see it, you can hear it, you can smell it, you can taste it. And, you know, it's understanding there's a reason that you're so sensitive to vibration, right? If you go back and you look at the first 20 parts of the story of creation, you're going to start to see examples of how sensitive you actually are to vibration, okay? Frequency is the way in which you broadcast vibration, okay? It's really cool. It's also the way in which you receive other broadcasts, if you will, okay? Other vibrations. And so your job is to pay attention. We're so busy. We're so busy. We're taught to be busy. And we have to-do lists, not only from ourselves and for ourselves, but for everybody else, that we are consistently, right? Whether it's your boss, whether it's your partner, and if you have children, that's a whole other, you have lists on top of lists because you have lists for yourself and lists for your children. It's the way this world has taught us to be. And so right now, it's recognition that discomfort is great right now, right? I mean, we went through a massive transformation in March where Jesus literally stepped back from this world, from his role that he has played here for about well, he's saying to me, like Jesus is saying he was here in a very strong capacity for about 9,000 years. Again, it doesn't really matter. Time and space doesn't really matter to what we're talking about, because the moment your intention changes and it's clear and it's pure, back to purity, it's instantaneous shift. It doesn't matter, right? There is no such thing as, oh, it's going to take time, it's going to take space. If you can change your intention, it's instantaneous. That being said, humanity is on a path this year, and we're picking up, momentum is the wrong word. We're picking up awareness, right? So every single time one human has more conscious awareness, so they've unplugged and they've allowed more awareness to come in, they raise their vibration. So when you raise your vibration, you're giving out more universal awareness of consciousness. So the more you broadcast, right, the more other people can pick it up. But the more humans that are actually walking around with conscious vibrations, the more the vibration of the experience rises. Okay, so that means that, so if you imagine right now, right, this has been a 90 to 95% darkness vibration, this planet, okay, not the whole universe, just the planet and all the people here, right? We've been operating on this vibration of darkness. What I mean by darkness, not good and bad. Darkness is keeping everything hidden. We're going to keep everything hidden. We're going to keep all the truth hidden. We're going to keep the truth of who you are hidden. Why? Because the moment that you know who you are, you can't be controlled or manipulated. So they're going to, it's like they're saying, like going for the jugular. The jugular is your awareness of self, period. That's it. So ultimately, what's occurring at this time as a result of Jesus pulling back, right? So he chose to pull back as a result of humanity misusing his vibration and his energy of compassion, right, as pity, right? So that's what people were using it as currency, pity as currency. And he said, I'm going to step back and I'm going to choose to be more of an observer. So his energy is still here. He's just not in a leading position on helping this transformation, because after 9,000 years of trying, it became very apparent that humanity was manipulating and using his energy in ways that, right? So ultimately, the biggest reason was people were waiting for him to come and help and fix. So it was a perfect excuse of why I don't do it for myself, why I can't do it for myself, because I'm not strong enough, right? And Jesus is going to come and save us all. Anyways, there's a lot more information about that. I've shared it over the years, and we have a lot more in our private communities. But ultimately, you know, in March, the middle of March, Jesus stepped back at the equinox. No, anyways, it doesn't matter. Was the one of the moon ceremonies. But what happened, and what's more important, is that who stepped forward. Okay. And it was Pan, and it was the angelics. Now, Pan is the energy of pure potential. Okay. And the angelics, the first stream of angelics, are all about matter and existence. So the fundamental aspects of existence. And so we've been working since last December 2024 on creating this new foundation for human existence. So the old is done, and now we're creating this new foundation. And this is why everyone, has really been feeling a little bit lost and not really sure of directions forward. And we went through 2024. There was a lot of like breaking down the old and still not feeling great. And then this year, everyone keeps hoping that it's going to turn around. But the reality is we're now building a new foundation. We've never done this before in all the history of existence itself. So this is not just, you've never done this in your life. This is the history of existence. So feel that, okay? Let yourself have that awareness. It's not to have pity and to go, okay, that's why I'm feeling so overwhelmed. It's to go, oh, I got to work harder. I have to choose to pay attention in a way that says, you got to own this, because you are the one who's creating the foundation for human existence, right? This is not just, what's going to happen to you next week, next year, 5 years from now. This is recognition that what you're creating is going to contribute to the experiences that 5 generations and then 500 generations, like your brain can't even comprehend what that looks like. 500 generations from now, those family members will be in a conscious state and will be able to say, wow, this is incredible because of what Ashley and Brandy and Carrie and Tanis and Serena did for me. That's how important your role is. So you can choose to keep showing up and being uncomfortable and saying, oh, this is too much for me. Or you can choose to say, all right, so in this world, what can I do? What is the potential of what I have to offer here? And I don't want you to second guess it. Because here's the thing, your awareness of what you have to offer is going to be minimal the first time you ask, the 100th time you ask. If I've been doing this work for 20 years as work, I've been doing this since I was born 50 years ago. And every day it gets better. And every day I recognize that I have only scratched the surface of what I'm capable of. Why? Because we have to choose to show up. That is literally the point of existence. You're here to explore your potential. And if every day you say, what's my potential today? What do I actually want to experience? Don't ask small questions, ask big questions. What is the most incredible human experience I could create, I could think of experiencing in the country that I live in? What would it look like? How would health look? How would food look? How would conversations and relationships look? How would our relationship with the planet look? And then you go, okay, so out of all the things that you go through, what's the most important to me? What's the one that I'm like, I want this now? Okay, so what can you do to bring that closer to your experience, to having that experience? What can you do? Because here's the thing, you would not have that goal, that wish, that awareness, that desire of that great experience if you weren't meant to participate in creating it. That's important. That's how important your visions, your awarenesses are. And it's also recognizing that the moment you're on that path, your bigger vision's going to change. It's going to shift. Why? Because you're going to learn more. Because you're naturally going to be in a state of exchanging conscious information with the universe. The moment you start feeding these awarenesses is the moment that your relationship with the universe is growing. Do you know what that's called? Evolution. That is what needs to be restored. There has not been evolution in the human experience for over 50,000 years. It's going a little bit longer. Yes, we've had monumental discoveries. Okay, that is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is evolution of human existence. We've gone backwards, and now we need to climb out of that, but we don't need to suffer. We don't need to suffer. Isn't that crazy? Just feel that for a minute. We don't need to suffer. We were never meant to suffer. Humans weren't created to suffer. That's an illusion. And it's a creation that we choose to plug into and believe, so it keeps coming at us. Suffering is a result of not believing in your potential and your future. It's brilliant. So today, it's allowing yourself to really build an intimate relationship with your level of comfort and discomfort in the world. You want discomfort to be your best friend. Why? Because that means you're changing. You're creating change. You are a leader of change, whether it is for your own life, for your family, for those around you. But if you want to be, and you know you're meant to be a great leader in this world, then you have to start at home with you. You have to be willing to feed that relationship with change to the point that it is not only your best friend, but it is your leader. It is your guide. Because that is the only way that you will be able to transform and change aspects of existence that you know you're meant to participate in changing. Yeah. Change. It's not bad. It's your new best friend. It is so. Until next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers. If you're one of the select few who felt the depth and energy of universal wisdom in this episode, I invite you to join our private community, the Authentic Human Collective, where episodes are recorded live and the conversation and exploration go far beyond what the public is ready to hear. Find all the details at michellevickers.com.